LinkedIn hosted its massive annual event called B2B Believe in New York City. I've got product roadmap announcements on this week's episode of the LinkedIn Ads Show.
Welcome to the LinkedIn Ads Show. Here's your host, AJ Wilcox.
Hey there, LinkedIn Ads fanatics. As he said, I'm AJ Wilcox. I'm the host of the weekly podcast, the LinkedIn Ads Show, and I'm thrilled to welcome you to the show for advanced B2B marketers to evolve through mastering the LinkedIn Ads platform and achieving true pro status.
The LinkedIn Ads Show is proudly brought to you by B2Link.com, the LinkedIn Ads experts.
We are the ad agency 100% dedicated to LinkedIn ads, and we have been since 2014. You know, back before it was cool. We've mastered the platform and have figured out how to get you the very best traffic at the very lowest costs, which on a platform that charges such a premium like LinkedIn, this is the best way we've found to increase your return on investment. We've even built reporting capabilities that LinkedIn themselves can't provide, so we give our clients the very best insights. If that sounds interesting to you and you'd want to explore possibly working together, schedule your free discovery call at b2linked.com/discovery. All right, first off in the news, we have lots of cool things that have been announced and are coming out. First off, there's an announcement about predictive audiences. Now, this is the replacement for lookalike audiences that we've talked about lots of times. Well, one little advancement here is that all advertisers who are using a third-party partner for a contact list, that would be things like 6 Sense and HubSpot, dynamic lists, and that kind of thing, will now be able to create a predictive audience based off of those lists. So very cool. We can obviously create them from manually uploaded lists, but now we get them through third-party lists. Very cool. All right, this next one I'm extremely excited about because this is going to save me a lot of time, and I know it will you too. This one's called Audience Email Notifications with Audience Ready Status. Quoting LinkedIn's announcement here, tired of checking every hour to see if your audience status on a list is ready in Campaign Manager and you wish you got a notification instead? We're excited to launch email notifications for predictive and matched audiences. Account admins will receive an email when their audience is in ready status. Notifications will be sent per audience. Now, we've already been getting these for many of our accounts for a couple weeks. This is really exciting. This is going to be on 100% ramp, meaning that 100% of LinkedIn ads accounts will have this feature by April 10th, which by the time you listen to this, it'll already be April 10th. So hooray. This is one of those little features that we've asked for a long time because you never know when you upload an audience when it's going to be ready or not. Sometimes, LinkedIn says 24 to 48 hours. Sometimes it's 72. Actually, a lot of times it's 72. This is going to be a way for us to tell and keep good track of yes, this audience that I wanted to use is ready. Another quick product announcement, there's going to be a share feedback inside Campaign Manager. And that means you can submit feedback directly from within the Campaign Manager tool by clicking Share Feedback in the footer of Campaign Manager. And LinkedIn says, your feedback is always appreciated. Please do go submit and share your best advice for what you'd like to see Campaign Manager tool be able to do in the future. One of our LinkedIn ads super fanatics, Anthony Blattner, he shared something inside the Fanatics community. This is where we get early insights and access into all the best knowledge. So if you want to be a part of that, go to fanatics.b2linked.com and come join us for all of these insights. But Anthony shared in there that he was talking to LinkedIn support because he was curious why the campaign quality score metric sometimes shows up in campaign reports and sometimes not. And he shared the response he got back, which shares something really interesting. They said, the campaign quality score sometimes appears for active campaigns and sometimes not when you export your campaigns. We no longer support it, even though it's available in your exporting report. And you should know, both product and engineering are in the discussion of whether or not they're even going to update the logic behind this calculation. So if you use it, keep in mind that it's only going to be accurate for those campaigns that are using manual bidding, and basically it's on its way out. All right, do you have a question, a review, or feedback for the show? Message me on LinkedIn or email us at podcast@b2linked.com. You can attach a link to a voice recording from you, and I'll play them right here on the show. I'm also happy to keep you anonymous, or I can share your details as well. So record yourself asking that question, leaving that comment, correcting me on something from a past episode, whatever it is, I'll aim to include you right here in the show. All right, without further ado, let's hit it. So this week in New York City, LinkedIn threw their big annual B2B Believe event. Now, those of you who've been listening for a while, you may remember the episode that I did back in 2022 at the end of the year on the B2B Believe event that LinkedIn threw in San Francisco. Well, this year, it was bigger, it was better, it was everything bigger in New York City rather than San Francisco. And I'm so glad I went. It was awesome. If any of you listeners were there, I would absolutely love to hear from you what you got out of the show. So message me, hit me up. I'd absolutely love to hear. But for those of you who were not able to make it, I wanted to give you the sneak peek, the behind the scenes access, and let you in on a whole bunch of the new features, the new roadmap releases, everything that I would want to know about an event that I didn't get to attend. So here you go. So first off, LinkedIn actually brought me in as an influencer to take video and show everyone kind of a backstage pass, show you behind the scenes of everything that was going on and even behind the stage. All of that was awesome. We do have a recorded video, so I'll link to that in the show notes so you can go and watch it if you want. It's just 2 minutes long, totally worth watching. But I wanted to share with you, the event was on Thursday, April 4th of 2024, and I went in on Wednesday. This is the day before. They were supposed to have everyone up on stage practicing, giving their speeches. I was going to take notes so I'd know what to share. But we went in and this massive stage, I mean, they had probably 200 union workers there in this room still hammering things together. I mean, the stage was all custom. It was all custom colors and shapes, all wood. It was really actually awesome to see. But 200 people doing construction, moving big equipment around. And so pretty much all of that practice time that I was hoping to listen to people and get good notes, that all went away. I did still stand around and kind of watch things, but really cool. I may see if I can include some behind the scenes pictures or something that you can see if you're interested. So I was really curious after seeing it like that on Wednesday, when we showed up on Thursday, was there going to be an event or was it there's still going to be a ton of construction equipment? I was very happily surprised when I walked in and it looked perfect. This event was huge. I have no idea how much was spent on it, but everything was meticulously thought out. It was gorgeous. LinkedIn revealed their new color palette. If you looked around, like their new styles, the new colors, there's a whole bunch of colors in the color palette. I would explain them as being almost like minty or pastel-y. I'm not great with colors, but that's kind of what they look like. And they go all the way from like the green spectrum, greens and blues, to oranges and purples. Really cool. I don't know anything about design, but I loved seeing that. So first thing in the morning, we had a separate session just for partners. And partners, like we had the episode with Ileana Acosta. She talked to us about how the partner program works. These are people who are building software off of LinkedIn's APIs. So all the tools that you use, the HubSpots, the Supermetrics, the Shape.ios, all of those are these partners. So those were the folks who were invited to this session. And this was really cool because they gave a separate roadmap as opposed to the general LinkedIn ads roadmap. And it was really cool to see the differences and similarities, especially because as soon as the partners make features available over the API, that means that these partners like HubSpot and metadata and those kind of software, they're going to be able to use these features, whereas if we didn't have an API for it, we wouldn't have it. The one I was most excited for is the Thought Leader Ads API. They say it's coming, so it's not out yet, but they do have some partners who are beta testing it. About Thought Leader Ads, several of the speakers during the B2B Believe event cited this same quote. They say that Thought Leader Ads have nearly 2 times higher engagement and 1.6 times higher click-through rates than standard single image sponsored content. And that's really cool to see because when we launch Thought Leader Ads, they generally perform much, much higher than that. So I think what that means is there are companies out there who are using Thought Leader Ads, but probably they haven't figured out how to use them really intelligently or really efficiently yet. So keep testing. There's all kinds of new things to learn. But when we launch Thought Leader ads, we're getting click-through rates in like the 2 to 5% range, sometimes higher, and costs in like the $1 to $3 per click range, whereas our cost per click used to be in the $10 to $16 range is usually what I cite. They mentioned that there's going to be an API coming soon for connected TV. Hold that thought, because I've got lots to say on connected TV. Also, they said there's going to be support very soon for viewing and monitoring direct messages with companies. So if you're a super admin of a company page, you've probably been receiving emails that are like, so-and-so sent you a message. And I've had the opportunity to play with it a little bit. Most of the time I'm going, I wish they would have reached out to me individually, because I'm probably going to miss a message that someone sends to my company page. But if it comes to me, I'm watching those a lot more closely. But now that there's going to be an API for it, hopefully the tools out there are going to make this a lot easier. I could totally see like social listening and posting tools surfacing these through your normal conversations and through messages. So let's see what people end up doing with it. They also mentioned that LinkedIn's revenue attribution report data will soon be available via API. And they say it's for qualified reporting and attribution partners. So they're probably only going to release this to partners that they really trust, probably the bigger partners. They mentioned that Supermetrics has already integrated in with this, and they've seen some really cool results so far. So to remind you, the LinkedIn revenue attribution report is something that we've talked about before. This is something that was only available if Salesforce was your CRM. Well, now it seems like we're going to get access to this through more CRMs than just Salesforce, which is awesome, because I would say probably only 20% of our clients are using Salesforce at any given time. So this is great for us to be able to use this feature somewhere else. As a reminder, Revenue Attribution Report does require that you have Business Manager set up. So if you haven't already set up Business Manager, well, you probably should. And I'll tell you, it's actually getting a lot better. It was pretty buggy in the past, but we're having a lot better luck with it now. Now, Gina Kleiner was the one who was talking through all the roadmap for partners. She did a fantastic job. She talked about the Events API. So we're going to be able to, and this is going to come a little bit later on in the conversation too, so follow along, but we're going to be able to launch and manage event ads through the API. So kind of interesting. We're also going to be able to create and manage predictive audiences through the API. That's cool. She also mentioned CAPI, or Conversions API. We've talked about it before, but watch for future episodes. We're going to have a future episode all about the Conversions API. But the metric that I absolutely loved that she shared, when their customers integrate with the Conversions API, they see a 31% lift in conversions. They say a maximum of. So there's probably those who are seeing less, but let's say this is even 20 to 31% of your conversions show a lift. That means that you were losing that many conversions due to not having it through the API, due to relying on cookies that have been lost, deleted, or fade away. So this is very cool. I'm really excited about the Conversions API. They already have API partners for CAPI that you can use. So probably a lot of the software that you're using, if it integrates with LinkedIn's Conversions API, you'll already have it. And that's the easiest way to make the connection. Now, she also mentioned something that was kind of vague, but she mentioned something about buyer groups. She seemed to be announcing something around being able to target the whole buyers committee as opposed to just individuals on LinkedIn. And it seemed like it was going to be easy. Okay, so more to come on that. Now, after the partner session was over, we ended up having lunch. Everyone kind of dispersed. The lunch was really good. Then we came back together for the main session. Now, the main session started out with Jim Haybig, who's the VP of marketing for LinkedIn. He's been on the show before, so you might recognize him. He introduced Mel Selker, who's LinkedIn's CMO. And she talked all about the B2B renaissance. I really appreciated what she shared because she was mentioning how they talk internally a lot about how B2B is going through this renaissance. And she was wondering if that concept was getting old. Then one of her employees reminded her that the actual renaissance that happened in Europe that we still talk about lasted for 2.5 centuries. So she went, okay, this probably still makes sense for us to talk about. But some of the individual stats that she shared, that when your ads make someone laugh, you're going to get 65% more engagement. She mentioned how important nostalgia is, which is very cool for those of us who are able to use nostalgia in our marketing, bringing in old songs from like high school for us. Very cool. She also mentioned that bringing in an A-list celebrity doesn't really affect the performance of your ads at all. It's not positive or negative, it's just there. So we can probably save our money trying to get those celebrity A-list influencing spots. Next, the VP of brand marketing at the company SAS, S-A-S, her name's Natalie Osborne. She spoke about some of the branding efforts that they'd done. They really invested in some cool TV commercials, all based around this same brand message of being able to connect a lot of disparate data points to help with analytics. So she showed a couple of their ads on screen. It was very cool. But my takeaways here, she said that audiences were 130% more likely to respond to a recruiter request after they'd seen those ads. She also said that they were 6% more likely to connect with one of their sales leaders after seeing the ads, and that's connecting on LinkedIn. But here's the kicker. They were also 35% more likely to respond to a sales outreach email after being touched with one of these branding spots. Very cool. I love this concept. When you have ads that stand out, people remember, and they're so much more likely to engage with you. Okay, next, Lindsay Edwards, who's the VP of Project Management at LinkedIn. She gave what I think is by far the belle of the ball kind of talk on stage. She talked about the upcoming roadmap. Here were the things that I was so excited to share with you. I actually shared them ahead of time with the LinkedIn Fanatics community. So if you're not already a member there, go jump in there. You'll get early access to everything that all the insights that we share. But here it is for the podcast listeners, all of the new products, features, along with my commentary. First up in the roadmap, we have predictive audiences. Now, these are already out. Everyone can have access to these. They phased in when LinkedIn's lookalike audiences phased out. So we have had these for a while. No big surprise here. But what she shared is that when advertisers were using these for lead generation, they were seeing an average of 21% reduction in cost per lead. Now, we're testing these in a couple ways right now, so I hope to have more to share. But looking at that stat of a 21% average reduction in cost per lead, that's pretty amazing. I'm really interested to know how this works. So please, if you've had experience with predictive audiences significantly decreasing your cost per lead, I'd love to hear about it. Okay, I mentioned that we were going to come back to this. She then talked about buyer group targeting. She said it's in beta currently, and she called it the easy button to reach the buyer group. She said with a simple one-time setup, you'll be able to serve your ad not only to that single decision maker, but the whole buyer committee. I'm really interested to see if we get a level of control here, or if it's going to feel more like a black box that I'm not going to recommend doing because I can't see what's happening on the other end. But the fact that it's in beta right now tells me we'll probably be able to see here in maybe the next few months at most how this is going to work. But anyone who's in the beta, reach out. I'd love to hear about your experiences. The next announcement was for CAPI, or the Conversion API. Now, this is definitely out now. Anyone can go use it, but more and more partners are building integrations to make this really easy. Right now, I'm doing the integration with Google Tag Manager, and it's really difficult. There's a lot of custom stuff that we have to build, but as partners do it, it's going to be so much easier. So I love that partners are really taking the bull by the horns, especially with CAPI. The next product that Lindsay talked about, she called it a conversion lift product. She said later this year, it's going to be using A/B testing to demonstrate the incremental benefits to your conversion campaigns. I'm going to guess that this is going to go underneath the test navigation element there in Campaign Manager. Right now we have an A/B testing tool. Maybe this will be an add-on to the A/B test, or maybe it'll be something totally different. But I'm really interested to see how they pull this off. I haven't been super happy with the A/B testing before. You've heard me talk about it before, but I'm really interested to see if this one is great. The next feature she announced is the Measurement Maturity Index, or MMI. She said this is currently available, so reach out to your LinkedIn rep to get it. What it is it's a comprehensive report with actionable insights that can help you measure your ROI according to your brand objectives. The goal of this report or index is to help you prove the complete ROI of your campaigns. I don't know what goes into it, but I'm going to guess it's some kind of a survey of what you have connected, how your leads are counted. Is it multi-touch attribution, last touch, that kind of thing? But I'm really interested. I'm going to reach out to our LinkedIn reps right after this and ask them for the report for us. Okay, this next announcement totally took me by storm. It's called in-stream ads. So I've actually heard LinkedIn's product team talk about in-stream ads before, but I didn't quite understand how they would pull it off. Now we actually have insights here, and I think it's really cool. She said, we have content deals with some of the top publishers in the world whose content is coming directly to the LinkedIn platform. These include companies like Business Insider, The Wall Street Journal, and many others. We're excited about a new program now out in pilot that will allow advertisers to run in-stream ads on LinkedIn, starting with pre-roll against these publishers and their extremely high-value content. Okay, so this is why this was so mind-blowing. When I heard about in-stream ads, I would think like, well, what? Are you going to play an ad before the content in, like the video content in just the newsfeed and some member's video? I didn't see how that was going to work. But with this partnership, I'm going to guess that we're going to start seeing Business Insider, Wall Street Journal video content in the newsfeed. And if you choose to watch it, then you're going to be able to have either a pre-roll or a break in the middle, which is like during the stream, an ad there. So we'll see if I'm right on this prediction, but I think this is a really interesting step. Again, I couldn't picture how in-feed and pre-roll and in-stream could work, but now I'm seeing it, especially when we're talking about bringing in content from really high-quality content providers like Business Insider and Wall Street Journal. All right, next announcement is live events ads. Now, if you've been listening for a while, the event ads have not been an ad format that I've been very excited about. I just haven't had very much luck with them, but I'm actually really excited about this iteration. So with these live event ads, these are going to be 3 stages of ads where if you run a LinkedIn live event, your ads can, before it starts, can tell people about the event to get them to register. Then once the event's going, it's going to show up in people's news feeds telling them it's here, come join now. Then if the event is over, they're going to be showing that post in your news feed telling you, hey, go back and watch this. This is really cool because for those of us who run LinkedIn live events, they're kind of like once you've used it, they go the way of the dinosaurs. They disappear. You never hear from them ever again. And it's really hard to re-engage them or reinvigorate them, reuse them in some way. So this way, these event ads are going to help us do more with our LinkedIn Lives. I don't know a whole ton of people who do LinkedIn Lives regularly, but I do hope that this ad format is going to get people to get more excited about doing them. Lindsay also mentioned that LinkedIn are working on ways for you to better measure your event, not just attendance and engagement like we have now, but also the downstream impact, even impact on your marketing qualified leads and sales qualified opportunities. No word on when that's coming out, but I would guess probably later on in this year. We've mentioned Accelerate, the AI beta that's been going around recently. Pretty sure it's open beta because I see this on accounts that are not even very large spenders. But she talked about how you give it a link to your landing page and it builds the whole campaign for you, including the creatives, including the targeting. So we knew about this, but one thing she showed us a live demo of was this text-to-image ad creation that are letting marketers in the beta build and customize ads on the fly with Microsoft Designer. So what she showed us on screen was being actually inside of Microsoft Designer and having it use ChatGPT's DALL-E to build elements right there for you to use inside of your ads. I haven't had a chance to test this yet. I may not, because having an AI-based campaign kind of goes against everything that we try to do as an agency, is like leverage the great amount of knowledge that we've seen of what performs and what doesn't and roll it out. But I'm really interested to hear from all of you. Let us know, are you using Accelerate? Is it working well for you or not? The last product that she mentioned was Thought Leader ads. Now, Thought Leader ads are definitely already out. We've all been able to use them. The most recent announcement was as of April 1st, we're going to be able to promote posts that are non-employees. So that opens us up to things like user-generated content, being able to sponsor those, as well as influencer posts. So nothing too new there. But then she brought on someone else we've had on the show before, Taina Palumbo Price. Now, you might remember that Taina is the head of LinkedIn's product marketing, and she was the one we interviewed all about thought leader ads when they were very first new, so very cool. She walked out to share a very special announcement. We've already talked about it a little bit, but it's this connected TV, and it's abbreviated CTV. Now, this is something that I've heard our LinkedIn reps talk about now for several months, and I haven't been very excited about it, but I started to get really excited as I talked to various product folks at LinkedIn all about it, because in my mind, CTV is one of those things like, well, if you're already doing TV spots, then yeah, of course, this makes perfect sense to now push it out wider than just video ads. But we don't have a ton of spenders who are spending so much on TV that this is a very natural progression. So I kind of wondered, like, is this really usable for us for maybe smaller advertisers? And I think it's actually going to be really good for the smaller advertisers. As she was talking about this, so what connected TV is this ability to show your video ads across different TV providers. This isn't network TV, but it would be like if you're watching any of the tiers of platforms, things like Peacock that have ad breaks within them, then LinkedIn would be able to put this in front of someone who they know that there's a business professional who fits your criteria living there at the household. So I was curious about the reach. She said that they already have 60 million households in North America with more than 105 million devices. And that figure is per month. If you allow that to go out to the quarter, they have quite a few more devices that are connected than that. So my question was obviously, okay, how do you make this connection? And it made a lot of sense. They have all kinds of different partners who do this, but based off of the IP address of these connected devices, LinkedIn can match it up with the IP addresses that the professionals log in, either on their desktop or from mobile. And if they log in enough from that IP address, you can say pretty certainly, oh, this person lives there. And that way LinkedIn can map this. So we have something like 260 million LinkedIn members who are in North America. We have 60 million of those households that are reachable through connected TV. So this is actually pretty good reach. Then Taina dropped the big bomb announcement here. She said, we're joining forces with NBC Universal for premium inventory. And then she brought Trevor Fellows from NBC Universal onto stage to interview him and ask him a few questions. Now, I was able to ask some questions here and get a little bit more specific information. While LinkedIn is launching with NBC Universal as one of its launch partners, this is very premium inventory, which means if you want access to it, you do need to dedicate a specifically, like, I can't remember what the number was, but it's a large amount of spend that's going to go to it and have a separate contract for it. So the NBC Universal inventory, it costs more than the regular inventory. And so you will have to work with your LinkedIn reps on that. But Trevor said on stage, I love this quote, very few people ever talk about a display ad or a print ad with their friends, but people talk about TV ads all the time. We remember them. And I do think that's one of the most powerful parts about TV advertising. And this puts us in a really good spot with connected TV on LinkedIn. What I love about it, we can obviously reach people who are on LinkedIn through LinkedIn ads. Easy peasy. We also have access to the LinkedIn audience network. So now we can reach those professionals off of LinkedIn. But now with connected TV, we have a third way of giving that prospect a big digital hug. And that is being in front of them when they're watching media in the evenings with their family. Very cool. All right, that is it for the roadmap discussion. But I promise you, there's one more announcement that you won't want to miss. So make sure you keep listening. The next speaker on stage was Louisa Wong. She's the CEO of Extreme Reach. She shared how diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI, how being inclusive in our marketing leads to higher performance and higher cultural relevance. And I do really agree that being inclusive in our advertising is the way to go. Then there's this giant agency called iProspect. Their CEO is Liz Rutgerson, and she cited some research, and I really wanted to share with you some of these points. She said, according to new LinkedIn research, we're seeing a 42% decrease in marketing job posts. And I'm guessing many of you marketers out there have probably already seen this, where, man, the job market's kind of rough right now. She also shared that 75% of marketing professionals are having to navigate budget constraints. They're being asked to do more with less. Lots of tightening of budgets. We've felt it across our clients. We've definitely seen it across the whole industry. And Liz said, I know that's true for my customers. 86% face the challenge of making substantial operational changes. And for many, this is happening concurrently. So you're having operational changes like losing staff or like not being able to replace staff, and all at the same time of having a smaller budget and being asked to do more with it. I wanted to share this with you because you are probably all seeing this happen around you. And I want you to feel seen and feel heard that, yeah, this is happening to everyone. It's all over. It's not just you. Okay, the very last and final announcement here for this episode. You may have listened to episode 123. This was all about LinkedIn being up at the Sundance Film Festival. If you listen to that episode, this may not be a huge surprise, but LinkedIn hired a very high award-winning director named Ben Proudfoot to create a B2B movie. Now, if you go down into the show notes, you'll see a link to a Jim Habig post on LinkedIn. That contains the trailer. So if you want to go see the trailer, I think it's like a minute, 30 seconds long. Go see it. Get jazzed about this movie. We're definitely going to say more about this. We'll probably have like a release party or something with all of you listeners. If you want to hear more about the background of this movie, go listen to episode 123, but definitely go watch that trailer. I know you'll be glad you did. When the director, Ben Proudfoot, was talking, he said specifically, the release is soon. I don't know what soon is, but I'm going to guess within the next month or two, we'll probably see something about it. So stick around. I'm going to share with you as soon as I hear. So again, hit the show notes. Go click that link for the trailer. The movie is going to be called Everybody's Business. Sounds really cool. Also, I've mentioned this a couple times during the show, but if you want to be in with all of the LinkedIn ads fanatics who are sharing what they're seeing in the platform, what's working, what's not, come join us at fanatics.b2linked.com. This is for a very low monthly fee. You get access to all of the fanatics. You also get access to all 4 of our courses that are meant to take you from absolute zero knowledge about LinkedIn ads to LinkedIn ads hero. That's ultra advanced. There's even an upgrade to be able to hop on weekly group coaching calls with me. So if that's interesting, check it out. It's a lot less expensive than if you're just to go buy hours with me for one-on-one consulting. So if that's something you'd ever consider, I would highly recommend it. If this is your first time listening to the show, welcome. We're so excited to have you here. Hit that subscribe button and make sure that you hear this show every week. Now, if you're a loyal listener, this is not the first time you've listened, I would invite you, please do go and rate and review the show, especially on Apple Podcasts. This is by far the best way that you can say thank you for the 6+ hours that it takes to put together every one of these episodes every week. And it's also the very best way that you can help us share the show out so other LinkedIn ads fanatics see it, know about it, and can subscribe themselves. All right, with any questions, suggestions, or corrections about the show, reach out to us at podcast@b2linked.com. And with that being said, we'll see you back here next week, and I'm cheering you on, as always, in your LinkedIn ads initiatives.